Northern California is known for its rolling hills, beautiful coastlines, and of course, its world-famous redwoods. We had spent the previous few weeks in the deserts of Arizona and Southern California, so we'd gone north to escape the heat. Unfortunately, we turned up right in the middle of a record-breaking heat wave. We are in Northern California at the top of a mountain with almost 360-degree views, and it is really hot. We came from the coastline earlier where it was 60 degrees, and now up here it's a little over 95 degrees, and it's kind of unpleasant. Let me show you how we got here. We'd started our day at the well-known Glass Beach in Fort Bragg, where all that's left of a former dump are thousands of worn and rounded glass pebbles.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, a lot of the visitors collect glass, so less and less is there for us to see. From there, we took the beautiful Shoreline Highway north along the beaches and cliff tops. We followed the road inland through steep, winding roads before heading up into the mountains, trying to gain some altitude to find a spot to camp with views and relief from the heat. The spot I found to camp was in a small patch of BLM land nearby, one of the only areas that would allow dispersed camping. Looking on the satellite imagery, I'd seen a narrow dirt road that dead-ended at the tip of a ridgeline. It looked good on the maps, but I was not prepared for the perfect views I found when I got there. I did get the misters going to cool it off a little bit, and they really do help, but they could do with a little bit more of a breeze. Like right now it's super still. We have curry for dinner tonight, and I really don't feel like eating it right now because it's so hot. So I think I'm just gonna sit down here under the misters, relax, and play with all of these trucks and some of this Lego. After putting my son to bed, I was treated to one of the most vivid sunsets I've ever seen. Last night was really hot. The wind, what little breeze there was, just completely cut out at about 1 a.m. and we were both awake, just laying there miserable. We both really struggled to sleep last night. And it's already super hot this morning. The sun's beating down on me here. I'm starting to sweat. So I'm going to get packed up as quick as we can. And the goal tonight, by the end of the day, is to get back to the coast, because I want to camp close to the coast, if not overlooking the ocean, because it's so much cooler out there. But in the meantime, there are a bunch of cool things that we can see along the way, because we're in the whole redwoods area. So we're going to pack up, get going. For some reason, the further we come down the mountain, the cooler it gets. It was 90 degrees at the top, and it has just reached 80 degrees as I'm getting down close to the highway, which doesn't make any sense to me. The whole reason I went to the top of the mountains because I thought some altitude would be cooler. So I guess I should have camped down here in the forest. And the highway that I've just reached, that I'm merging onto now, is the 101, which is obviously a very well-known highway. It goes all the way along the coastline here. And we do have big chunks of pavement as we go, but along the way are sights to see, so there's a bunch of things to do. It's a lot cooler down here, if you can call 80 degrees cool. There's also a lot more muggy down here. I can feel the humidity outside, but it's still a really cool drive. I got the window down and it smells like really earthy out there, which you can imagine considering all these huge mossy trees everywhere. But we're getting ready to pull over. Just ahead of us is a little hike we can do so we can get out and see the trees up close instead of just driving through them. We'd stopped in the Founder's Grove, which is known for having the best trees along the Avenue of Giants and is home to several of the tallest known trees in the world. One of these trees, the Founder's Tree, was the tallest known tree from 1931 to 1957 before the taller Rockefeller was discovered nearby. Yeah. Coming through these trees is awesome, but it's so hard to get a sense of scale. Like, I know on camera, I'm looking at the little screen here, I know there is no way you can get a sense of scale of this. Like, this is out of my reach. This is about 10 feet that way. The most impressive tree in the grove isn't actually standing anymore. It's the Dyersville Giant. The giant was the tallest known tree in the world between 1966 and 1991, when it was toppled by several neighboring trees that lie splintered next to it. As they fell, they knocked down the 500-ton, 370-foot tall tree. It's so big that when it fell, it registered on a nearby seismograph. These trees are enormous, and obviously I knew they were going to be big, but seeing them in the pictures or on video really does not do them justice. This is one of those places you've got to come visit for yourself. It's quite impressive. It's very impressive. And seeing them falling down too is where you really get that sense of scale. You know, when you're walking along the length of one of the fallen trees, or you walk past one of the bases of them, and you're looking up, and it's like twice your height, if not more. That's when you really see how big they are. So I definitely recommend coming and visiting this. All right, now it's time to try and make it to the coast. If we can't make it to the coast, then camping under the trees like this is pretty nice as well. But coast is my preference. We have a couple of choices where we camp. There's a campground right on the ocean here, right on the beach, which will probably be a little busy. Just pull it there and take a look. But it'd be good for him because it means that we'll just walk straight down to the beach and he can play on the beach. The other option is up on the hilltop over there, which is not likely to have a lot of people, but it does mean that we'd probably be in the clouds and we'd be far from the ocean. I think I drove right past the information sign because I was too busy talking to the camera.
Whoa!
Whoa.
What is that?
That's a trailer. I think we'll camp down here. There's not too many people, and seems kind of quiet, and we'll be right next to the beach. He'll love it.
Whoa!
What is that?
A bunny.
A what? It looks like a squirrel with no tail. I don't know. Oh, I might need to get the Max Trex out to get level. Alright, so it looks like it is $15 per site, and I fill in this. Thankfully, I have some change with me this time. Usually I don't have a lot of change. It's beach time, except he decided he doesn't like walking in the sand. Which I don't blame him, it's more difficult. But it means now I have to carry him and all of his stuff and the camera. I tell you what, it's a lot warmer and a lot less windy than I thought it was gonna be. There's like barely a breeze. I'd say it's about somewhere around 65, 70 degrees. So really quite pleasant just sitting here on the beach. I'm glad we came down here. I think it was worth the $15 versus camping for free up there, because we would have been in the clouds up there and there would have been nothing to do. Probably just would have been cold and damp and not much of a view. So I think this was a good spot. You stuck? Well, I enjoyed staying at that campground last night. It was very quiet. I didn't hear anyone, and the temperature was very pleasant. It was around like 55 degrees was the low last night, which I think is like the perfect temperature for camping. So now we're going to continue north, and we are following the coastline for a little bit on some paved roads, and we should eventually hit some unpaved roads. Our drive had taken us back down along the beautiful, deserted, rocky coastline before climbing up into the sea mist. I usually try to avoid paved roads like this when I'm out on these trips, especially ones in as poor condition as this. But I'm actually really enjoying this drive. It's really pretty. I enjoyed driving along the coastline, and now we're going through the rolling hills. And a lot of it actually reminds me of a lot of places I've been to in the UK growing up. I don't mind this at all. I really like it. As we turned inland, we left the cool, damp air behind and made our way along wide open, dry, grassy hills with fantastic views. At the end of the road, we drop down into a nearby town to refuel and resupply, and we'll pick up the trail again in the next episode.